a lot of us, we wind up getting to a high and then falling, and then getting to another high and then falling, because there's no foundation laid for us. You know, and I see a lot of people who have an idea of what they think should be going on, but I call those the mind people, where I feel like because I've been incarcerated, I'm the heart, you know, and I can see better what we actually need, like the housing, you know, where we can't even, as felons, we can't even gather together, you know, to help one another out. And who better to help each other out than those that know what we're going through, that know the struggle. I had a closer bond with a lot of the women I was incarcerated with than I do with my own sister, you know, because they understand, you know, and we understand each other, but we can't get together. We can't say, okay, you can come and stay with me for a while till you get on your feet, because the parole office is not going to allow it. But the whole thing with the police, it's like they're so aggressive with females, because even when I got to prison, I couldn't believe how they talk to you like you're nothing. And I'm a real humble person, especially if I know I'm wrong. So I accepted my time. You know, I didn't try to make my time worse for them or make it worse for myself. I was strictly yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. But when I started having medical issues, it's like they didn't want to hear what I was saying. I broke my front tooth.
The people in the jail, or
the people in jail, they wouldn't even take me to the dentist. I had a toothache until I actually had to have somebody to bring the monies and put it on my books for them to take me to the dentist. And I mean, I was in pain, in serious pain. And I got my tooth pulled, and then they went on to ship me out to the prison. And when I got there, like I was saying in the coalition meeting the other day, I had a little fibroid tumor, and I took my medical paperwork with me. And I tried to explain to them what my doctor said, but if you put me on birth control pills, it'll shrink it, it won't grow anymore. Well, from 1999, which is when I first went, until 2004, they did nothing. I'm talking about, I was throwing up. My uterus fell 2 or 3 times. I was so sick that my eyeballs were yellow. And so finally, I kept pushing it with all the grievances and everything. They kept saying that I was faking, and the doctor said I had a phantom pregnancy. That's why my stomach was. And I told him, I said, man, I'm around 599 women. I didn't want a child by my husband. Why would I be around a whole bunch of women thinking about being pregnant? Now, what kind of sense does that make? So finally, my family put a little pressure on them, and they sent me to a outside doctor. And this man literally cried. The doctor cried when he, on the ultrasound, they couldn't even see the full tumor. It was so big. It was like a tablet. Because I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sit up straight. I had to sit like this, like I was a pregnant woman. I couldn't move. I mean, it was terrible. And he told me, he said, you know, you're a trooper. I can tell you that much, you're a trooper. I said, well, I can tolerate a lot of pain. But when it got so bad, I had to put my get my family involved. And that's the one thing that they don't like you to do in prison. They don't like you to really tell your family what's actually going on inside. Because it's corrupt. And the guards, they don't care. No matter what you tell them, they don't care. If they don't feel like you're one of them, which they do buddy up with certain inmates like that, they don't care what happens to you. They don't care. They sent me it's called industry, where you don't have enough time. You have too much time that you can't go to work release, but you can go work for free, and we were burning CDs. And I remember I was walking down the hall one day, and so one of the officers, he called me, he beckoned me to come here, and he was in like the medical part. And so I went to him, he said, come on, go in. So I went in, and I stood there, and he said, okay. I said, okay, what? He said, okay, it's just me and you. I said, oh, you got me confused with one of those. I said, that's not how I operate. I said, when I got my time, I didn't turn anybody in. While I'm doing my time, I'm not gonna be sleeping with anybody, because how can you benefit me? What can you give me? You can't say, if I sleep with you, I'm gonna get out tomorrow. So he instantly opened up the door and let me out. But when I began to talk about it, the next thing I know, I was shipped back to Newport. There's a young lady, she got raped. Inmates raped her with a broom. I mean, it's nothing you can do about it. And when I think about it, it still grieves me, because, like I said, people don't know what we actually went through. And if you're actually a good-hearted person, and then you see all this corruption going on, it's hard. And especially when you want to come out a better person and not a bitter person.